There comes a point in life when silence becomes your greatest weapon. Not against others, but against everything within you that keeps you trapped. You start realizing, peace doesn't come from adding more. It comes from quietly removing what doesn't belong. The world won't understand this kind of transformation, because it's not loud, it's not visible. It happens in small invisible choices, in the way you stop reacting, in the way you stop explaining, in the way you stop needing to prove anything to anyone. Carl Jung once wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. But to become who you truly are, you must first eliminate who you are not." Here are 10 things you must quietly remove from your life, and you don't have to tell anyone. 1. The need to be understood. You can spend your entire life trying to make people see your side, and still, they won't. Because most people don't listen to understand. They listen to confirm their own story. So stop trying to explain your silence. Stop trying to convince anyone of your intentions. The ones meant to understand you already feel you. When you release the need to be understood, you free yourself from the prison of perception. And that's when you finally start to breathe, as yourself, not as someone else's version of you. 2. People who drain your emotional energy. There's a kind of person who doesn't take your energy. They feed on it. They thrive on chaos, subtle control, and the illusion that you owe them your peace. But you don't. You owe yourself boundaries. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is walk away without a sound. Don't announce it, don't justify it, just quietly disappear. Because when you stop giving energy to those who never replenish it, you start regenerating your soul. You stop surviving in emotional debt, and that's when self-respect quietly returns to your bloodstream. 3. The habit of overthinking everything. Overthinking is your mind's way of pretending it's in control. It creates a storm of questions that never lead to peace. What if I said the wrong thing? What if they think I'm different? What if I fail? But the truth is, you're already losing more to hesitation than you ever will to failure. When you overthink, you live life in delay. Your intuition gets buried under noise, and the present moment, the only place where power truly exists, slips through your hands. So stop replaying conversations in your mind. Stop dissecting the what-ifs. The mind loves control, but peace only exists in surrender. Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "The man who fights monsters should see to it that he himself does not become a monster." Your thoughts can become that monster. Learn when to put the sword down. 4. The desire for constant validation. Approval is the sweetest poison. It feels good, until it starts to own you. You post something, you wait. You say something, you scan faces for reaction. You live your life waiting for invisible applause. But here's the truth. If people can give you validation, they can also take it away. Real confidence begins where validation ends. When your actions are no longer dictated by opinion, you finally start living from inner authority. You stop performing, you start being. And the world begins to sense that energy. A kind of quiet power that doesn't beg to be seen, but can't be ignored. 5. The fear of disappointing others. You were not born to meet everyone's expectations. Yet most people live like they were. You bend yourself backward, edit your words, soften your truth, just to avoid discomfort. But every time you suppress your authenticity, you betray yourself a little more. Here's the paradox. When you stop trying to not disappoint others, you finally stop disappointing yourself. Because peace isn't found in being liked. It's found in being real. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." Living begins the moment you stop asking for permission. 6. The habit of explaining yourself. You don't owe everyone an explanation. Not for your choices, your silence, or your decision to walk away. Explaining yourself is often a hidden form of seeking approval. It's a quiet plea that says, "Please see me as good." But self-respect doesn't negotiate for acceptance. It simply exists, steady, unbothered, unmoved. When you stop over-explaining, you reclaim your mystery, and mystery is power. Let your actions speak for you. Let silence hold your truth. Because what's understood doesn't need to be explained, and what's misunderstood no longer needs to be defended. 7. The attachment to outcomes. We suffer the most when we try to control what was never ours to control. You plan, you force, you chase, and yet things still unfold in ways you never imagined. That's not failure. That's life teaching you surrender. When you detach from the outcome, you allow space for the unexpected, for better timing, better alignment, better peace. The truth is, control is an illusion, and freedom begins the moment you stop clinging. Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." The need for control is often the unconscious trying to protect you, but life doesn't need your control, it needs your trust. 8. The guilt of growing away from people. Growth is silent, and it's often lonely. You start to see things differently. You crave peace more than conversation. You stop needing the same people, and they start wondering what happened to you. Nothing happened. You just evolved. But guilt whispers, "You've changed." And yes, you have. You were meant to. You can love people and still outgrow them. You can wish them well and still walk alone. Because not everyone is meant to follow you into your next chapter. Some people were lessons, not lifetimes. Don't carry guilt for healing in a direction they can't see. 9. The secret resentment you keep feeding. Resentment is emotional poison, and it's self-administered. It feels like protection, but it's really imprisonment. Every time you replay how they hurt you, you keep yourself tied to the moment they won. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's closure you give to yourself. When you forgive, you don't excuse the behavior. You release the hold it has on your nervous system. You reclaim your emotional freedom. You stop being the character in their story and return to being the author of your own. Because peace isn't found in justice, it's found in release. 10. The fear of being seen as different. You were never meant to blend in, but life trains you to. It tells you to follow the script, to fit the image, to stay small enough to be accepted. And yet, deep down you feel the truth burning, that you were born to stand apart. Different doesn't mean broken. It means original. It means awake. The moment you stop hiding your difference, you begin living your destiny. The world resists the uncommon until it needs what the uncommon creates. So be the one who walks away from the noise. Be the one who doesn't need the crowd to feel alive, because greatness rarely announces itself. It grows in silence. These things you must quietly remove from your life. They're not punishments. They're permissions. Permissions to become lighter, freer, and more whole. Not everyone will understand your silence. They don't need to, because silence is where transformation hides. And those who master it, master themselves. When you begin to let go of what no longer belongs to your soul, something remarkable happens. You stop chasing. You stop explaining. You stop fighting battles that were never yours to begin with. And in that stillness, you hear yourself again. You realize peace was never something you had to find. It was what remained when the noise was gone. The world might never notice your transformation, but you will. You'll feel it in the way your body relaxes around truth, in the way your silence stops feeling lonely and starts feeling sacred. Remember this: elimination is not loss. It's refinement. It's how the soul sharpens itself. Because the lighter you become, the more clearly you see who you truly are, and who never belonged in that vision to begin with. Carl Jung once wrote, "Your vision will become clear only when you look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." And that's what this process is. Awakening. So, keep it quiet. Let them wonder what changed. And while they do, you'll be somewhere peaceful, becoming someone powerful. If this message spoke to you, take a moment to breathe. Then, subscribe, not just to this channel, but to your own becoming. There's more waiting for you here. Lessons for the silent ones, for the thinkers, for the souls who outgrow their own noise. So stay close. We're just getting started.